Once the most formidable killer on the blacklist, he is now being pointed at and humiliated, even considered a fraud. One of the Black Cavalry coldly chuckled, pretty bold to impersonate the boss. Seize them all. As the words fell, hundreds of Black Cavalry converged, tension escalating rapidly. Little Yuan, seeing this, volunteered, "Master, let your disciple take action. I'll wipe them out completely." Before Lu Zhou could respond, Lin Luo stepped forward. "No need for you to intervene. I have roamed the world for years. How could I not have any tricks up my sleeve?" This move surprised everyone, especially since he was not fully healed. If he really fought the 4 major Black Cavalry, he wouldn't have the advantage. The charging Black Cavalry quickly approached him, but Lin Luo, with arms crossed, suddenly appeared amidst them the next second. 8-petal golden lotus avatar. With a shout, a massive avatar materialized, surrounded by 8 shimmering golden petals spinning rapidly, its forceful energy blowing the Black Cavalry away clockwise. A single move obliterated the 100-strong force. The avatar appeared and vanished quickly, lasting only a second, but it was enough to handle the Black Cavalry. The entire Black Cavalry force was left terrified, some spitting blood, others frightened or stunned. 8 petals represent the known human cultivator's limit in the cultivation world. Rumors from the Orthodox sect and Heaven Sword sect suggested that the ancestor of the evil Sky Pavilion had broken through to the 9th petal, achieving the 9-petal golden lotus. However, nobody believed it. The 4 leading Black Cavalry turned pale, swallowing hard as they struggled to their feet to plead. "We were blind. Please forgive us." "So it's Sir Fan." "Salutations, Lord Fan. Lord Fan, you are still alive." It can be heard that some of them are even excited in their speech. Unfortunately, times have changed, and people are no longer the same. Lin Luo shook his head. There is no Lord Fan in this world anymore. Upon hearing this, many of his former subordinates who had hoped for his return changed their expressions drastically. "Lord Fan," Lin Luo angrily shouted, cutting them off. Silence. Given Lin Luo's temperament, he would have normally started a massacre by now. Clearly, he was considering old affections. Lin Luo was injured and his cultivation had not fully recovered. Managing to display the 8-petal avatar for just a second was already quite difficult. Lu Zhou originally thought that bringing him along would be a burden, but he hadn't expected Lin Luo's skills to be so exquisite. "Use as much power as you have. This way, I won't need to make a move." Lu Zhou stepped forward and called out, "Lin Luo." Lin Luo turned around, picked up his hands, and bowed in respect. Seeing this, the members of the Black Cavalry were utterly shocked. Who could command such respect from the 8-petal avatar wielding Lin Luo? Lu Zhou ignored the gazes of the crowd and walked up to the leader of the Black Cavalry and asked, "Are these orders from Moli?" The man, holding back his fear, answered, "The Black Cavalry is directly under the royal family. We follow the Emperor's commands." Lu Zhou nodded. With Moli's capabilities, she wouldn't dare to control the Emperor. So there is only one possibility. The Emperor truly does not want the Clarity sect to disappear. Hence he sent Li Brocade Clothes and the Black Cavalry to support the Clarity sect. Considering the current resources at the palace, only 3 types of support could be dispatched. First, the forces under Wei Zhuoyan, but Wei Zhuoyan is focused on quelling the rebels, and even if they came, they wouldn't pose much of a threat, especially since he saved Li Brocade Clothes. Second, the Black Cavalry. Without Fan Shouwen, the Black Cavalry's strength has greatly diminished, and with Lin Luo here, any former comrades would retreat if they encountered him. Third, the Imperial Guards. Clearly, the Emperor would not use the Imperial Guards lightly. This confirms that Yu Zhenghai, this unfilial disciple, wants to oppose the Emperor. His ambition is clear for all to see. Seeing that Lu Zhou had no further questions, Lin Luo looked at the Black Cavalry and barked, "Aren't you going to scram?" The Black Cavalry hastily replied, "Yes, thank you, Lord Fan. We are grateful, my lord." Under Lin Luo's stern gaze, the Black Cavalry, as if pardoned, scurried away in a scramble. Once the Black Cavalry had left, Lin Luo's body showed slight shaking. Clearly, that move had taken all his strength. Jiang Aijian chuckled and walked over. "Elder, that was a brilliant move. The Black Cavalry is, after all, the Emperor's pawn. By letting the Black Cavalry go, you are creating trouble for Yu Zhenghai." Hearing this, Lu Zhou turned to look at him. "You're quite clever. Why not stop by the evil Sky Pavilion for a cup of tea before you go?" Jiang Aijian quickly waved his hands. "Better not. I have other matters. Elder, we'll meet again next time." That, he quickly retreated to a distance, fearing being caught by Lu Zhou again. "Elder, before I go, one last piece of news. Your 7th disciple, Si Wuya, is at the main hall of the Clarity sect." Li Brocade Clothes then bowed to take his leave. Lu Zhou nodded. Li Brocade Clothes had made a good impression, at least as someone very sensible. Lu Zhou did not stop her. The entire slender West Lake gradually quieted down. Little Yuaner bounced over to his master. "Master, where are we going?" Lu Zhou turned and headed towards the flying chariot to the Clarity sect's main hall to capture the renegade. Pan Litian and Lin Luo, following behind, exchanged glances. They both felt that going to the Clarity sect's main hall at this time might be premature. It's not that they feared the Clarity sect. Machi is already dust, and the Clarity sect doesn't have much strength left. Yu Hongyi and the 7 sons of Clarity sect are merely at their last gasp. The main concern is the Underworld sect. The Underworld sect is also at the Clarity sect's main hall. Moreover, the 4 great protectors of the underworld sect are all first-class experts. The sect leader, Yu Zhenghai's cultivation, is rumored to be on the same level as the ancestor of the evil Sky Pavilion. One-on-one is understandable, but how to deal with so many experts? Besides, the barrier at Golden Court Mountain just malfunctioned. The urgent matter should be to return to Golden Court Mountain to recuperate. 3 old men, with a girl in tow. It looks odd no matter how you view it. Back at the flying chariot, Pan Lydian voiced his concerns. I believe this trip is ill-advised. Lu Zhou turned to look at Pan Lydian. What's inappropriate? The sect leader wants to clean house, which is understandable, but I've heard that Yu Zhenghai is highly skilled and powerful. He won't be easy to deal with. Lu Zhou calmly replied, I am well aware of the situation. You just don't want to go back to the Clarity sect, do you? You might be the first person who can make avoidance sound so trivial, Leng Luo said dismissively to Pan Lydian. Pan Lydian retorted, Leng, are you uncomfortable if you're not picking on me? Leng Luo countered, Pan, I'm teaching you how to face fear and adversity, not just to avoid them. The two often bickered, and everyone else usually ignored them, letting them argue. Lu Zhou glanced at Pan Zhong lying in the flying chariot and said, Zhao Yu, take him back. He then waved his arm, summoning Whitezerd. Seeing the auspicious aura around Whitezerd, Pan Lydian's eyes widened like a bull's, his face filled with disbelief. In a cultivator's life, having a legendary mount is a blessing earned over 8 generations. Many families, and even many cultivation sects, might only have one mount in several generations. It was unexpected that Lu Zhou had shown 2 mounts in one day. Leng Luo remained calm, as he had witnessed Whitezerd's might during a previous battle with the 10 sorcerers. Pan Lydian looked expectantly at Lu Zhou. How did you obtain Whitezerd? According to the records, Whitezerd is extremely difficult to tame, and there are no Whitezerds in the Misty Forest. Lu Zhou thought for a moment. This time he didn't make up a story, but shook his head and sighed. Just luck, not worth mentioning. Pan Lydian expressed his admiration. You're being too modest. Anyone who can obtain Whitezerd must be a powerful figure. It's said that Whitezerd can speak human language, understand the emotions of all beings, and know the form of everything in the world. Is that true? Little Yuaner answered for his master. I haven't noticed that. It never spoke. I only know it's very powerful. At Lu Zhou's signal, Zhao Yu, with Pan Zhong, flew onto Whitezerd's back. Whitezerd then soared into the sky and disappeared into the clouds. Pan Lydian watched until Whitezerd vanished, then shook his head and sighed without saying a word, but bowed slightly to Lu Zhou. At his age, speaking sappy words of gratitude seemed somewhat awkward, better left unsaid. He picked up his liquor gourd, took a drink, sat down on the ground of the flying chariot, and continued drinking by himself. Duan Mushing looked at Lu Zhou to confirm, Master, are we really going to the Clarity sect's main hall? Do you not have confidence in your master? The disciple wouldn't dare. I will take the helm right away. The flying chariot gradually sped up. Lu Zhou looked at the remaining tools. If these cards could all be used on these nefarious disciples, the training process might be smoother. There are still dozens of tool cards in hand, especially the enhanced version of Cage Bind and the Peak Experience card. As long as this card exists, even if 10 more Yu Zhenghais come, he could handle them all. While Lu Zhou was pondering, the cloud-piercing flying chariot began to accelerate with violent shaking. Duan Musheng, who was steering, awkwardly looked at everyone. Sorry, hold tight. Little Yuaner excitedly shouted, no worries, brother, it's fun. Meanwhile, at the Clarity sect headquarters, after a major battle, the place was in ruins, chaotic everywhere you looked. Above the headquarters, a giant flying chariot was parked, dozens of cultivators on board on high alert, led by 4 individuals in robes of different colors. After a moment of silence, the head of Vermilion Bird Hall, Yang Yan, couldn't help but speak. Will the old demon really come? Hua Chongyang looked at him sternly. Mind your attitude. If the sect leader hears you, there will be a penalty. Bai Yuqing expressed her thoughts. The elder has already gone to Slender West Lake. Given his temperament, Machi will not escape death, but the support from the palace will also hold him back. There are skilled people with Wei Zhuoyan. The elder might not have an easy time escaping. Machi probably never expected to die not by the hands of the sect leader, but by the elders. The others nodded in agreement. Di Qin spoke. The sect leader trusts Mr. Seventh of the Evil Sky Pavilion very much. If Mr. Seventh says the elder will return, then he definitely will. Hua Chongyang gave a serious directive. Do not underestimate this person, nor anyone from the Evil Sky Pavilion. If it weren't for the elder's personal private heart, perhaps each of them would be as strong as us. Remember, we try to delay the elder with our words, buying time for the sect leader. It all depends on you Hongi and others now. With the 4 of us here, hopefully, nothing will go wrong, but if it does, escape immediately. After looking at each other, the 4 nodded again, firmly believing that there is no shame in fleeing from such a powerful opponent. During their conversation, a giant flying chariot gradually appeared. It's here! They pushed back the palace's reinforcements so quickly. It's cloud-piercing. Definitely Evil Sky Pavilion's flying chariot. Immediately notify the sect leader and Mr. Seventh. Proceed with caution. The cloud-piercing flying chariot stopped near the headquarters, where the Clarity sect's barrier was already broken, and the 7 peaks were on fire. The underworld sect's flying chariot quickly retreated to the back of the headquarters. The 4 four bowed in unison towards Lu Zhou. Azure Dragon Hall's Hua Chongyang greets the Elder. Black Tortoise Hall's Di Qing greets the Elder. Vermilion Bird Hall's Yang Yan greets the Elder. White Tiger Hall's Bai Yuqing greets the Elder. Their voices carried robust sound waves up to the cloud-piercing flying chariot. Little Yuan, after hearing this, reminded, Master, they are the Underworld Sect 4 Great Protectors. It is rumored that among the Underworld Sect 4 Great Protectors, 2 have 6 leaves and 2 have 7, though it is unclear if this is true. Lu Zhou, looking down at the 4 below, inquired, Where's Yu Zhenghai? Hua Chongyan, sweating profusely, bowed and replied, Elder, the sect leader ordered me to wait here and said that although the Clarity Sect was conquered by the Underworld Sect, if the Elder wishes, you can take it away at any time. Lu Zhou looked around, but did not see Yu Zhenghai. Such a devious disciple indeed. Duan Mushing stepped forward and shouted, Let Yu Zhenghai and Siwaya come out. How dare they cower when Master arrives? How absurd. Hua Chongyang wore an apologetic smile. Mr. Third, please calm your anger. The sect leader and Mr. Seventh are too busy to come. Nonsense. If you're scared, just say you're scared. Why dress it up so grandly? Aren't you ashamed? Hua Chongyang helplessly bowed again. Elder, every word I say is true. I dare not lie. He could already feel Lu Zhou's anger. If this continued, Lu Zhou's wrath might very well fall upon them. The 4 great protectors were ready to retreat at any moment. If the Elder made a move, they would not hesitate. They would not engage. They would just flee. With their 6 or 7 leaf nascent divinity tribulation realm, escaping should not be difficult. Lu Zhou, with a serious face, had clearly lost his patience. Then tell me, where are Yu Zhenghai and Siwaya now? Hearing this, Hua Chongyang stammered, unsure how to respond. Elder, we are members of the Underworld Sect. How could we commit such betrayal? Please understand, Elder. Lu Zhou clearly didn't consider them significant. If you refuse to speak, then you will return with me to Evil Sky Pavilion. Hearing this, Hua Chongyang was so frightened that he trembled all over. Elder, forgive me. I am but one of the 4 great protectors, insignificant. Moreover, the barrier at Golden Court Mountain is abnormal. Elder should beware of the villains. Bai Yuqing and the others were also very nervous. We've heard that the son of Luo Xingkong from Heaven Sword Sect, who is also the sect leader Luo Changfeng, was killed by the Elder. Luo Xingkong has been seeking an opportunity for revenge. Elder, you must be cautious. Why should the Elder have a falling out with the sect leader? The sect leader left Evil Sky Pavilion out of necessity. Hearing this, Little Yuaner and Duan Musheng, who could most relate, also wanted to know why the eldest senior brother left so resolutely. At this time, Lin Luo spoke up. Regardless, betraying the sect is a grave mistake. The 4 of you are not fools. The reason does not need to be stated again. You can escape for a moment, but not for a lifetime. Upon hearing this, all 4 fell silent, just as they were unsure how to respond. From the direction of the 3rd peak of Clarity Sect's 7 peaks, a deep sound wave suddenly swept through. Master, why must you? His sound waves echoed through the mountains, and it was clear that he had heard everyone's conversation. Lu Zhou pointed towards the source of the voice and angrily rebuked, Wicked disciple. Duan Musheng, understanding the cue, immediately steered the flying chariot towards the 3rd peak. Seeing this, the Underworld Sect 4 Great Protectors exclaimed in alarm and worriedly followed behind. The situation on the 3rd peak of Clarity Sect was not much better than at the headquarters. Buildings halfway up the mountain were mostly burnt down, and the bodies of Clarity Sect disciples were strewn haphazardly on the steps. Seeing this scene, Pan Lydian sighed deeply. They brought it upon themselves, truly brought it upon themselves. Lu Zhou expressionlessly began searching for Yu Zhenghai's traces. Soon, the 4 great protectors caught up and stood in front, blocking the path of the flying chariot. To stall for time, Hua Chongyang boldly spoke. Elder, Clarity Sect not only framed Evil Sky Pavilion multiple times, but also collaborated with other righteous sects to try to annihilate Evil Sky Pavilion. Now that the sect leader personally led the Underworld Sect to destroy Clarity Sect, the Elder should be pleased. Duan Musheng could not help but retort. If he truly had the interests of Evil Sky Pavilion at heart, then please tell me, what was he doing when the 10 Great Masters attacked our master the first time, and during the second attack by the 10 Great Masters on Golden Court Mountain? What was he doing then? He not only betrayed the sect, but also deliberately colluded with the famous righteous sects to reveal our master's whereabouts, betraying the master and destroying the ancestor. Such a crime must be punished. Upon hearing this, the 4 great protectors' faces became visibly uncomfortable. From behind the 3rd peak of Clarity Sect, Yu Zhenghai's voice transmission rang out again. 3rd junior brother, we are from the same sect. Why do you malign me like this? As the voice echoed, there was also a massive fluctuation of primal energy, indicating that Yu Zhenghai was not only in Clarity Sect, but also seemed to be fighting something. Suddenly, a thunderous bellowing of a bull sounded, followed by a golden light rising tens of meters high from the base of the 3rd peak. Lin Luo, experienced and knowledgeable, explained, the mount, one-legged ox. That was the sound of the one-legged ox. The golden light below became clearer, and Duan Musheng recognized it as his eldest senior brother's famous technique, mysterious heavenly starlight. As the cloud-piercing flying chariot was preparing to move, the 4 great protectors exchanged glances and simultaneously activated the 100 tribulation inside Avatar. Hua Chongyang spoke with a bow. I know that I am no match for the Elder, the sect leader once said. The Elder's might is unmatched. Even if the four of us join forces, we could never defeat the Elder. Please reconsider, Elder. This was clearly a mix of soft and hard tactics. In plain terms, if Lu Zhou insisted on intervening, the four were also willing to fight. This also confirmed a saying in the cultivation world. Yu Zhenghai's cultivation level was on par with his master's. If the four great protectors are of such caliber, what reason does Yu Zhenghai have not to be an 8-leaf golden lotus avatar? Lu Zhou casually took out 4 thunderous energy cards, his voice deep and forceful. Your courage is commendable. I admire your bravery. For the sake of the cloud-stepping boots, I will give you a pass. Move aside. He had a fairly good impression of these four. At least they had always known their place, so there was no killing intent towards them. But if they really wanted to bet on that 1% chance, then it would be a matter of life and death, and fortune is in heaven's hands. Hua Chongyang froze on the spot, his forehead covered in cold sweat. After pondering for a moment, he clenched his teeth and gave the command, retreat. The other 3 were somewhat puzzled, although they were reluctant to face the Grandmaster. With such important matters at hand, how could they just retreat? We need to buy time for the sect leader. Yu Hongyi won't last much longer. The defensive restrictions of the 3rd peak are about to be breached. We cannot retreat. Hua Chongyang sternly rebuked. I'll say it again. In the sect leader's absence, I carry out his commands. Hearing this, the 3 no longer argued and together responded, understood. After seeing them retreat, Lu Zhou stood with his hands behind his back, withdrew the tool cards, and although there was no fluctuation of energy around him, his invisible aura was enough to intimidate anyone. It wasn't built in a day. Millennia of tempering allowed Lu Zhou to possess this awe-inspiring presence. Duan Mushing steered the flying chariot toward the 3rd peak, and little Yuaner pointed ahead, reminding, Master, ahead. That is Clarity Sect's prison, protected by thousands of restrictions. No wonder. The Underworld Sect 4 great protectors are buying time for Yu Zhenghai. With Yu Zhenghai's strength, it indeed would take some time to break through these 1,000 restrictions. Little Yuaner urged anxiously, 3rd senior brother, quick, quick, don't let the eldest senior brother escape. The sound of the one-legged ox echoed again, its noise gradually fading into the distance. Thinking of escaping, Lu Zhou lightly tapped his toes and leapt into the air, and as he descended, Bayan swept through the air and steadied him on its back. Accompanied by roaring sounds, Bayan, like a bolt of lightning, crossed through the woods to the area where the mysterious heavenly starlight had fallen. Just as Lu Zhou was earnestly searching for Yu Zhenghai, a golden light suddenly flashed through the jungle and shot into the sky. Inside the golden light, the one-legged ox beast was speeding forward, and a vague figure could be seen on its back. That must be the wicked disciple on the one-legged ox. Seeing this, Lu Zhou did not hesitate. With a wave of his hand, the enhanced version of cage bind shot towards the figure on the one-legged ox. The enhanced version displayed was not a terrestrial cage, but more like a Taoist binding charm. Although Lu Zhou found it mysterious, he was certain that Yu Zhenghai couldn't escape. The charm quickly pursued to a cliff and then disappeared behind it. The disappearance of the charm indicates that it has triggered its effect. The wicked disciple can't possibly escape. Wicked disciple, do you think hiding can protect you from my charm? Lu Zhou, sitting on Bayan, searched with his eyes. The charm moved too fast, disappearing in a flash, but fortunately, Bayan had a sense of smell. Since the charm hit, he must still be nearby. Ding! Punishing the wicked disciple earns 300 merit points. Punishing? This kind of prompt was a first for him, further indicating that the binding charm had hit its target. Bayan, with a keen sense of smell like a hunting dog, searched around and soon let out a low moan under a huge tree. Lu Zhou looked up and saw a piece of clothing hanging from the tree, with a few drops of fresh blood on it. The size of the clothes matched those Yu Zhenghai wore while cultivating at Golden Court Mountain. Lu Zhou scanned the silent surroundings. It didn't make sense. He couldn't have left so quickly. Could he have used some kind of earth-escaping technique like Yun San? Finding nothing, Lu Zhou raised his hand, and strands of forceful energy flew out like waves in all directions. These forceful energy strands weren't very aggressive. They were a kind of tracking mark used by cultivators, a basic level of cultivation mark, simple and low in energy consumption. This mark could also track nearby life forms. Of course, if the target had cultivation, this move wouldn't work as it could be blocked by the target's protective forceful energy. With the cage binds effect triggered, the opponent's cultivation should also be bound, unable to resist the tracking of the marks. The marks disappeared like bubbles into the atmosphere, without any noise or sensation of life. Could it be that the one-legged ox forcibly flew away with him? The scriptures record that the one-legged ox is also a legendary fierce beast mount. If it really hurried along, it might indeed be difficult to pursue, but to leave without any noise is somewhat unbelievable. Lu Zhou activated his primal energy to condense into forceful energy, which whirled around, forming a miniature version of mysterious heavenly starlight. Mysterious heavenly starlight divided from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, and in an instant, the trees within 100 meters were all cut down by the forceful energy. As his cultivation gradually recovered, Lu Zhou found it easier to use the techniques and skills of his disciples. The problem of being unable to cultivate cultivate using his disciples' techniques when he first crossed over was also solved as his cultivation restored. While the power may not be as spectacular as that of the nascent divinity tribulation realm, at the very least, cutting down trees was no issue. Bayan searched again at Lu Zhou's command, but unfortunately, still found nothing. Without your cultivation, how long can you hide? Lu Zhou did not believe anyone could undo the binding charm. The wicked disciple would eventually come begging to him. After recalling Bayan, Lu Zhou rode it towards the third peak. He quickly arrived at the foot of the mountain, in front of the prison, where the sound of electric currents from the 1,000-layer restrictions buzzed continuously, clearly unable to hold much longer. The remaining people of Clarity's sect must be hiding behind those restrictions. Otherwise, Yu Zhenghai wouldn't have gone to such lengths to forcibly break through them. After waiting for a moment, the 1,000-layer restrictions disappeared, and a woman dressed in white led the way out. She was Yu Hongyi, the last remaining expert of Clarity's sect. As the underworld sect retreated, the people following her looked around in confusion and soon noticed the elder on Bayan. Yu Hongyi cautiously asked, "Are you a member of the underworld sect?" Lu Zhou shook his head, looking down at her from a height. "If it weren't for me, all of you would have already been dead." Yu Hongyi suddenly realized and hurriedly bowed in respect. So it was the old gentleman who drove away the great demon Yu Zhenghai. The people behind her also bowed. "Thank you, old gentleman, for your help. We cannot repay your great kindness and mercy." Ding! Received devout worship from 15 people. Gained 150 merit points. Yu Hongyi shook her head and sighed deeply. If it weren't for the old gentleman's timely arrival, Clarity sect might have. The 7 sons of Clarity sect looked dejected. The underworld sect has gone too far. With that old demon of the evil sky pavilion backing him, Yu Zhenghai wreaks havoc everywhere. Clarity sect once besieged Golden Court Mountain, so this calamity is somewhat expected. I wonder if the sect leader is still around. Speaking of the sect leader, Yu Hongyi angrily shouted, "Don't mention the sect leader again. If it weren't for his collusion with palace forces, how could Clarity sect have ended up like this?" The crowd lowered their heads upon hearing this, not daring to speak further. Lu Zhou then looked towards Yu Hongyi at the front. "I have questions. You answer." Yu Hongyi hurriedly stepped forward. "Are you Yu Hongyi, the current Grand Elder of Clarity sect?" "That is indeed me. The one who fought with you just now. Was it the underworld sect's leader, Yu Zhenghai?" Yu Hongyi displayed a look of anger. "Even if he turned to ashes, I would recognize him. My Clarity sect, with thousands of cultivators, has come to this end. Please, sir, administer justice." Lu Zhou couldn't help but be amused and bewildered by her request. "You ask me to administer justice? You, sir, managed to drive away the demon of the underworld sect. With Clarity sect facing such a catastrophe, other righteous sects will sooner or later be annihilated by the demon too, and then there will be chaos and suffering among the people." As Yu Hongyi spoke, she knelt down on the ground, her voice earnest. "Please, sir, help us." Lu Zhou was somewhat speechless. While it wasn't him who annihilated Clarity sect, the fact remained that Yu Zhenghai, his disciple, was involved. If news of Clarity sect's downfall spread, the cultivation world would likely blame Evil Sky Pavilion. Should he commit suicide in public to administer justice? Pondering this, he spoke coldly. "If the underworld sect wants to destroy your Clarity sect, that is your own fault. Yu Hongyi, I ask you, what is right and what is evil? Is Machi's cultivation of evil arts right? Or was it right when, 30 years ago, Clarity sect and 7 Stars Manor fought over territory, affecting thousands of people within 100 miles? Is that righteous?" Yu Hongyi was stunned and speechless. If this question had been posed before today, she would have unhesitatingly answered that Clarity sect, along with the 10 famous sects of the world, were righteous, while the underworld sect, Evil Sky Pavilion, Demon Slaying sect, and Azure Dragon Society were evil. But their sect leader Machi had secretly practiced evil arts, consuming the essence and blood of human cultivators, which was 100 times more evil than the demonic path. Thus, she now realized that this elder before her not kicking them while down was already quite generous. Reflecting on this, she lowered her head in shame. "I have learned my lesson." Lu Zhou returned to the main topic and asked her if, besides Yu Zhenghai, she had seen anyone else. Yu Hongyi answered that she also saw Si Wuya, the 7th disciple of Evil Sky Pavilion. "This man is sinister and cunning, good at scheming." The underworld sect's rapid control over the 7 peaks of Clarity was largely due to his instigation. The 7 sons of Clarity sect angrily added, "This person is too despicable, having planted over 100 spies. Such vile tactics are truly detestable." Over 100 people. Lu Zhou did not expect it to be so exaggerated. Others would find placing 1 or 2 spies impressive, yet he had placed over 100. Was this supposed to be a team effort? Yu Hongyi sighed. Clarity sect recruits disciples annually, but it was just him exploiting a loophole. Nothing much to say. Lu Zhou continued to inquire, "Where is Si Wuya now?" Yu Hongyi found this question a bit strange. Does the old gentleman have a grudge against the people of Evil Sky Pavilion? Lu Zhou replied, "It's not about having a grudge." To Yu Hongyi, this response implied a different meaning. If it's not about having a grudge, then the relationship isn't that significant either. If the old gentleman could deal with Evil Sky Pavilion, it would indeed be fortunate. "May I ask which sect or school you belong to? Once we overcome this calamity, we will surely come to express our gratitude." Upon hearing this, Lu Zhou calmly stated 3 words, Evil Sky Pavilion. Yuhani paused, as if she didn't quite catch that. Sorry, where did the old gentleman say? Just as she finished speaking, a huge flying chariot suddenly appeared in the sky. Yuhani was utterly shocked. She recognized it as the cloud-piercing flying chariot. Quick, back to the prison. Hurry, old gentleman. The people from Evil Sky Pavilion are here. Lu Zhou paid no attention to her, but looked toward little Yuan, who had flown out from the flying chariot. Master, your disciple has been anxiously waiting. Where is the traitor? Yuhani staggered upon hearing this, suddenly feeling a deep tremor in her heart. She looked at the little girl who had flown out and then at the serene old man on Bayan, realizing her situation. Escape now? Could she even escape? It was clearly too late. Little Yuan noticed the disciples of Clarity sect below and threw out the Brahma heaven silk wrapped around her. Yuhani stood still, and upon seeing the display of power from this celestial weapon, her face showed shock. A celestial weapon. She could almost be certain that this little girl was the 9th disciple of Evil Sky Pavilion. Stop, all of you. A hoarse voice came from the flying chariot. It was Pan Lydian, once the top expert of Clarity sect. Yuhani and the 7 sons of Clarity sect were at their last straws. Seeing Pan Lydian, they were overjoyed. Elder Pan, disciples pay respects to Elder Pan. Clarity sect's top expert has returned. There's hope. Pan Lydian shook his head expressionlessly. I am not any Elder Pan. I am an elder of Evil Sky Pavilion. Yuhani's hope was instantly dashed, and she incredulously called out again, Elder Pan. Pan Lydian barked in response. Silence. Lu Zhou hadn't expected Pan Lydian to have this revelation, but it was for the best. In the future, he could also serve well for Evil Sky Pavilion, becoming a strong arm of the pavilion. Lin Luo then spoke. Clarity sect's downfall today is largely due to sect leader Machi's doings. Plus Machi is under the influence of Moli from the palace. It has little to do with Yuhani. I suggest letting them go. After hearing this, Pan Lydian, breaking his usual demeanor, bowed towards Lin Luo, which surprised everyone. Lin Luo then instructed, step over here. Don't fall and kill yourselves. Lu Zhou's expression remained unchanged, and he seemed uninterested in dealing with Yuhani and the others. Little Yuan released the Clarity sect disciples, and she came to Lu Zhou's side to remind him, Master, the 4 great protectors of the underworld sect have fled. Duan Mushing bowed and said, I am willing to helm the cloud-piercing flying chariot and pursue the traitors. Let's go. Lu Zhou gave the order and then leapt onto the cloud-piercing flying chariot. Little Yuan made a face at Yuhani and the others. For Elder Pan's sake, I won't kill you. Back on the flying chariot, Pan Lydian looked at little Yuan and reminded her, girl, celestial weapons are not to be used in such a manner. Whether it's a celestial or terrestrial weapon, once a master is recognized, there should be a synergy between the master and the weapon. The higher the synergy, the greater the power. Just now, I saw you using the weapon in broad and powerful strokes, which seemed impressive but lacked finesse. As he spoke, he grabbed his wine gourd from his waist and gestured for little Yuan to pull out the cork. Little Yuan, unconvinced, casually waved her hand, and the Brahma heaven silk easily unwound the cork. Pan Lydian, holding the wine gourd, spoke again. Put it back. Little Yuan controlled the Brahma heaven silk to slowly move, but what seemed like a simple action, she couldn't manage to press it down. What's going on? Did you tamper with something to deliberately make it difficult for me? Little Yuan was somewhat reluctant, and Pan Lydian shook his head and explained, the hand is one of the human weapons with the highest degree of synergy. When you reach the same level of synergy with your weapon as with your hand, you can control it to a very fine degree. The Brahma heaven silk is like your arm. Little Yuan pouted. I don't believe your theories. I only believe my master. Pan Lydian helplessly shook his head. Now that he had lost all his cultivation, even if he wanted to teach her something, he lacked the credibility to persuade her. Moreover, since she was a disciple of Evil Sky Pavilion, his actions might seem presumptuous. He then bowed to Lu Zhou. I have been impertinent. Please forgive me. Lu Zhou stroked his beard, indicating it was no matter. After all, Pan Lydian was the former top expert of Clarity sect and a contemporary of Lin Luo. His experiences and knowledge were not something the younger generation could match. It was good that he was willing to guide the younger generation. In fact, Lu Zhou himself had not spent much time teaching his disciples. Reflecting on this, he demonstrated with the nameless sword. What Elder Pan said is largely correct. Synergy can indeed enhance control over celestial weapons. Elder Pan has reminded me, when we return to Evil Sky Pavilion, I will take more time to teach techniques. Lu Zhou then glanced at the wine gourd in Pan Lydian's hand. Celestial? Pan Lydian was momentarily startled, but nodded in response. Good eye. Lin Luo's hoarse voice spoke. The wine gourd, impressive. Pan Lydian, pleased, took a sip from the gourd. Just luck, really. The entire Blackwood forest burned for 49 days, and only this one remained. The unassuming wine gourd turned out to be a celestial weapon, and it was quite an accomplishment that he hadn't lost the weapon given his current lack of cultivation. After chasing for a while, they did not close the distance, and the underworld sect's flying chariot disappeared into the clouds. Little Yuan ran to Duan Mushing's side to help urge it on. The performance of the flying chariot heavily relied on the helmsman. The higher the cultivation, the more power it had, and the faster it could go. Lu Zhou anticipated this and shook his head, indicating indicating there was no need to pursue further. Yu Xinghai is bound by a divine spell and will come to us eventually. Back to the evil sky pavilion. Meanwhile, in a certain forest, Siwu Yao leaned weakly against a large tree root, a golden glow flickering from the binding character embedded in his chest, and he let out a resigned chuckle. The body-binding god spell, Master sure has many tricks up his sleeve. Hearing this, Yu Xinghai approached from the side. Sorry you had to go through this, seventh brother. Lu Zhou intended to capture the renegade Yu Xinghai, but unexpectedly, the body-binding god spell had struck old seventh, Siwu Yao instead. Siwu Yao shook his head. No need for formalities among brothers. It's my own carelessness. I thought the one-legged ox could distract Master, allowing elder brother to take care of Yu Hongyi and others, but alas. Yu Xinghai suppressed the turmoil within, clenched his left fist, and released a burst of forceful energy that punched through a towering tree in front of them. He then exhaled and said reassuringly, Yu Hongyi and the 7 Sons of Clarity Sect are no longer a threat, and the Clarity Sect exists in name only. Our goal is essentially achieved. Little brother, don't worry. Without your help, the 7 peaks wouldn't have fallen so quickly. However, he was somewhat puzzled. The body-binding god spell, the cloud-piercing flying chariot, the Mount Bayan Master's methods are as strong as ever, but why does he have to come out and complicate things at his age? Siwu Yao speculated. Perhaps, Master really wants to take the best of all teachings and unlock the secret to eternal life. At the mention of eternal life, Yu Xinghai clenched his fists tightly, his knuckles cracking. If there truly is a secret to eternal life, has anyone succeeded over the years? Generation after generation in the cultivation world, every time a genius or a powerful figure emerges, they are unwilling to be bound by the heavens and seek to change the immutable truths. How easy can it be? Seeing this, Siwu Yao offered some consolation. Elder brother, calm down. Why stoop to Master's level? Yu Xinghai sighed. Thanks to brother Wuyan. Siwu Yao smiled, recalling the earlier scene in the jungle. It's nothing. If elder brother hadn't used his vital essence to help me escape, I would probably be captured by Master by now. Little brother, rest assured, I will do everything possible to break this body-binding god spell. These are minor issues. It doesn't matter whether I have cultivation or not. Yu Xinghai nodded. With such an attitude, no wonder you can manage the dark net. I believe you can handle the dark net, but being without cultivation is still a risk. After all, who can guarantee there aren't others in the dark net with ulterior motives? Let's return to Mount Tranquility. After saying this, he led Siwu Yao away from the area. Meanwhile, in the grand hall of the Evil Sky Pavilion, Hua Wudao and others were gathered around a table. Lu Zhou glanced at his system interface, still having 10,220 points left, having bought 4 thunderous energy cards that hadn't been used. Just from Machi, he earned some merit, thinking he might pull some rewards when he's free. Then he remembered the matter of Yu Xinghai's escape. How did he escape? The body-binding god spell had clearly triggered and even earned merit, but he couldn't figure out where the problem was. Hua Wudao, seeing Lu Zhou at a loss, tried to console him. Why worry, sect leader? It's normal to get your feet wet if you always walk by the river, and besides, he suddenly felt something was off about what he was about to say, as if implying, you're getting old, and your disciple is so strong, it's normal for him to escape, which could really upset someone. Hua Wudao quickly changed his words. I heard that Yu Xinghai was affected by your divine spell. He will definitely try to break it. There are only 2 ways to do so. One is to find a more powerful sorcerer, and the Celestial Masters sect does have many cultivators skilled in divine spells. The second is to seek help from the Evil Sky Pavilion. Duan Mushing picked up a piece of meat and stuffed it into his mouth. Elder Hua makes sense. Master, take this opportunity to go to the Celestial Masters sect and wait for the rabbit. The others then looked towards Duan Mushing. Lu Zhou was somewhat speechless. He understood that the Celestial Masters sect was not like the Clarity sect. There aren't many high-level cultivators like Pan Lydian, but the Celestial Masters sect focuses more on divine spells and formations, and nobody dares to underestimate them on their turf. What's the point of a bunch of old, weak, and sick going there? To give them easy targets? It's better not to mention Lung Luo and Pan Lydian. It's good enough if they don't hold us back. Hua Wudao, with his defensive capabilities, is better suited to guarding the home. With this in mind, he shook his head. The Celestial Masters sect might not be able to undo my divine spell. The renegade has nowhere to go and will eventually come to the Evil Sky Pavilion. After saying this, he turned to Zhao Yu. How is Pan Zhong? Zhao Yu replied. Pan Zhong's injuries are stable and not serious. He will recover after some rest. Pan Lydian gratefully bowed. Thank you. Lin Luo, looking puzzled, asked, I'm curious, what exactly is your relationship with Pan Zhong? Considering the age, Pan Zhong is at most in his 30s or 40s, which is considered young in the cultivation world. Pan Lydian is from the same era as Lin Luo. He left the Clarity sect hundreds of years ago, so he is certainly not just a grandfather's age. Pan Lydian raised an eyebrow. What business is it of yours? At this moment, Lu Zhou placed a brocade box in front of him. I always keep my promises. Pan Lydian, visibly moved, had many opportunities over the years to find the Black Magnolia, but with his lost cultivation, obtaining it was as hard as reaching the heavens. He didn't speak, but bowed deeply to Lu Zhou, expressing expressing thousands of words without saying any. Lin Luo found it strange. With your status and position, relying on the entire clarity set, obtaining a piece of black magnolia wouldn't be difficult. Pan Lydian sighed deeply. Lin Luo, if Molly stripped you of your cultivation, would she give you a black magnolia? Hearing this, Lin Luo fell silent. Pan Lydian, holding the brocade box, left the hall, and Lin Luo soon took his leave as well. These two needed a considerable amount of time to restore their cultivation, and until then, they wouldn't be of much use to the evil sky pavilion. After the two of them had left, Lu Zhou asked if there was any news about Ming Shirin. Little Yuaner, clearly upset, replied, "No, master, Fourth's senior brother has gone too far this time, playing around for so long without coming back." Lu Zhou felt it strange. The system had not provided any notifications about Ming Shirin, but given his trust in Ming Shirin's ability to survive, Lu Zhou wasn't worried about him coming to harm. At that moment, Zhou Jifeng walked in from outside, his expression stiff, and announced, "Flowers and Moon Journey has returned," and she brought back the head of Yi Qingji from the Heaven Sword sect. Lu Zhou sipped his tea, surprised that Flowers and Moon Journey, in her quest to join the evil sky pavilion, had actually gone to kill a prominent figure from one of the top sects. But even more unexpected was that she chose someone from the Heaven Sword sect. Seeing Zhou Jifeng's stiff expression, Lu Zhou asked, "You're not happy?" Zhou Jifeng, trembling, quickly note, "The younger generation wouldn't dare. I would have relished slaying Luo Changfeng myself, but Luo Changfeng has already died by the hand of an elder, and I have long since lost any connection with the Heaven Sword sect." Hua Wudao reminded, "The Heaven Sword sect has been quiet for so long, and since the siege of the evil sky pavilion, Luo Changfeng's death has greatly weakened the Heaven Sword sect. It's said that Luo Xingkong had been in seclusion early on and had passed the position of sect leader to his son, Luo Changfeng. With the pain of losing his son, Luo Xingkong is not to be underestimated." Lu Zhou nodded and turned to Zhao Yu. "Is there any news from the courier station?" Zhao Yu hesitated. "Currently, there are rumors outside that Master's cultivation has significantly decreased, and to maintain his power and condition, he has drawn energy from the barrier." After saying this, she quickly added, "I am willing to repair the barrier." Lu Zhou waved his hand, indicating it was pointless. Repairing the barrier is a normal procedure and cannot cover up the previous fluctuations. In other words, the outside world already believes that Lu Zhou's power is rapidly declining, and even repairing the barrier won't change this perception. At this moment, a female disciple entered with Flowers and Moon Journey. In her right hand, she held a yellow tear quality bow and arrow, and in her other hand, she carried a pink box from which blood occasionally dripped. Upon reaching the hall, she knelt with a thump. Flowers and Moon Journey has lived up to expectations, having slain a second leaf nascent divinity tribulation realm master, Elder Yi Qingji of the Heaven Sword sect. Lu Zhou felt surprised. He hadn't expected that Flowers and Moon Journey, in her effort to join the evil sky pavilion, would actually go and kill a high-ranking expert from one of the top 10 sects, and even manage to take the head of an elder from the Heaven Sword sect. Flowers and Moon Journey awkwardly held up the blood-dripping box. "Sect leader, you'll know once you open it." Lu Zhou, not accustomed to looking at severed heads, waved his hand to have the female cultivators take care of it. Two female cultivators carefully took the box and threw it off a cliff. Lu Zhou's gaze fell on Flowers and Moon Journey. "With your strength and cultivation, slaying a second leaf is barely satisfactory." Flowers and Moon Journey appeared somewhat embarrassed. "I am aware of my limited abilities. The people from Heaven Sword sect are too cunning, and I never had a good opportunity to strike." "Why choose Heaven Sword sect?" Flowers and Moon Journey answered, "I heard that the Heaven Sword sect was restless, and Luo Xingkong has been looking for a chance to avenge himself on the evil sky pavilion. Instead of waiting for them to make a move, it's better to take the initiative. Let them see that the evil sky pavilion is not to be trifled with." Listen to that resolve. These tactics, this is what a disciple of the evil sky pavilion should be like. Not yet a member of the evil sky pavilion, and already speaking more aptly than its disciples. Hearing it is quite satisfying. Lu Zhou was very pleased internally, and indeed, the evil sky pavilion could use an archer. Hua Wudao spoke up at this moment. "Sect leader, Flowers and Moon Journey has passed the evaluation. If possible, I would like to guide her cultivation from now on." Flowers and Moon Journey's face lit up with joy. Lu Zhou said, "Hold on," and then slowly stood up and walked over to Flowers and Moon Journey. Facing the number one demon of the age from such a close distance, Flowers and Moon Journey was clearly nervous, excited, and frightened. Lu Zhou's expression remained unchanged. "Lift your head." Flowers and Moon Journey carefully did as instructed. Suddenly, Lu Zhou raised his hand and slapped her on the head. Everyone watching this scene held their breath, thinking Flowers and Moon Journey might be done for, but unexpectedly, the next second, her body was enveloped in golden light. Under the glow, her injuries healed at a terrifying speed. Flowers and Moon Journey gratefully cowed out, "Thank you, Pavilion Master, for healing me." Ding. Received one person's devout worship, reward 10 merit points. It's a pity that worship couldn't be earned repeatedly. How great it would be, like catching a renegade like Old 8 and forcing him to kowtow continuously, 1 point per second. You could accumulate over 80,000 in a day. away, and in a few days, gather all the avatars to look down upon the world. But even a mosquito is meat, better than nothing. Just daydreaming again. Lu Zhou withdrew his hand. Now that you're part of the Evil Sky Pavilion, you must abide by the rules of the Evil Sky Pavilion. Flowers and Moon Journey nodded enthusiastically. I understand. Ding. Gained a subordinate. Reward 1,000 merit points. Lu Zhou then asked about her cultivation level, and Flowers and Moon Journey awkwardly replied, second leaf. Her cultivation level would make her a celebrated genius in any other sect outside, and she was also heavily fostered during her time at Luo sect. However, this is the Evil Sky Pavilion. Lu Zhou showed no disdain, not bad talent. It's rare to be able to kill a pair of the same second leaf. Yi Qingji. The Western Pavilion contains many texts about archers, which all members of the Evil Sky Pavilion are free to peruse. Flowers and Moon Journey was thrilled internally. Thank you, Elder. Afterward, Hua Wudao led her out of the Great Hall. Lu Zhou turned to look at Zhou Jifeng, who quickly expressed his stance. Since joining the Evil Sky Pavilion, I have never regretted it. I only regret that I couldn't kill them myself. Lu Zhou nodded. What matters is strengthening yourself, not dwelling on things that are out of your hands. Instead of spending time thinking about meaningless things, you might as well go look at the texts in the Western Pavilion. Dismissed. Meanwhile, at Mount Tranquility in the Underworld sect, 3 protectors bowed to Yu Zhenghai. Master, please punish us. We failed in our duties and couldn't stop the Elder. We ask for your punishment. Yu Zhenghai turned around and said meaningfully, the strength of the Underworld sect today owes much to your efforts. We dare not claim credit. Since I left the Evil Sky Pavilion and founded the Underworld sect, it has been for the sake of this great cause, and you are my most capable lieutenants. In all the world, you are the ones I trust the most. Hua Chongyang, terrified, quickly knelt on one knee. Hua Chongyang is willing to accept punishment. It was I who acted on the master's command without authorization, and the other 3 are not involved. Brother Chongyang was also considering the bigger picture. We fully cooperated. If there is to be punishment, we are willing to share it. Di Qing had nothing to say, willing to share the punishment. Ultimately, the 4 had chosen to yield when facing the Evil Sky Pavilion. If they could have bought Yu Zhenghai a little more time, they could have annihilated the Clarity sect. Their goal was the grand cause of ruling the world, not child's play. What they most feared was faltering at the critical moment. The 3 were ready to accept punishment, but to their surprise, Yu Zhenghai helped them up. You are my capable lieutenants. How could I blame you? You did very well in this matter. The 3 were completely bewildered, not understanding his praise. Master, we can't accept such words. Weren't you supposed to severely punish us all today? Why are you suddenly praising us? Yu Zhenghai smiled slightly. Everything I just said came from the heart. You are my most capable and trusted subordinates. I would not punish you. He recalled the body-binding god spell. Had it not been for his 7th junior brother taking his place, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Hua Chongyang and the others were deeply moved and spoke in unison. Thank you, Master. Yu Zhenghai nodded. However, if we encounter my master again in the future, the 3 quickly expressed their loyalty. Master, rest assured, we will definitely stop him to the death. Yu Zhenghai shook his head. Avoid him as much as possible. The 3 were stunned, wondering what the master was really planning. Yu Zhenghai said no more and dismissed them. Hua Chongyang seemed to think of something. Master, is Bai Yuqing alone sufficient to protect Mr. 7th? Yu Zhenghai spoke calmly. I have my plans. An hour later, the Underworld sect's flying chariot passed through layers of cloud seas, with Siwuya sitting inside, eyes closed, conserving his energy. At this moment, his body's primal energy was completely depleted, making him almost as weak as an ordinary person who can barely fight, except for the strength from his quenched body realm. Otherwise, there was no difference. For a cultivator, being unable to mobilize primal energy meant being as good as disabled. I am disabled at this moment. Siwuya sighed deeply and ordered the flying chariot to stop. The pilot, Bai Yuqing, was puzzled. Mr. 7th, we are about to reach Crouching Dragon. Why stop? Siwuya slowly said. Master could reach Clarity sect from the banks of Slender West Lake in such a short time because someone tipped him off. Bai Yuqing was momentarily stunned. Mr. 7th, are you suspecting me? Siwuya shook his head, smiling in response. You misunderstand. He then pointed towards the left, turn south. Crouching Dragon Ridge is just a decoy, a temporary intelligence point to mislead others. 10 miles south, there is another intelligence point, Yellow Peak Mountain, which is very safe. Moments later, the flying chariot arrived above Yellow Peak Mountain, and Bai Yuqing, carrying him, descended directly. Arriving outside the council hall, Siwuya bowed. Thank you, Miss Bai, for your protection along the way. Please thank my elder brother for me when you return. Bai Yuqing chuckled in response. The master has already informed me. Considering your loss of cultivation, I will personally ensure your safety until your powers are restored. Siwuya, taken aback, turned around as if it were nothing. Please have a seat. Bai Yuqing pointed at the members of the Dark Net. I've heard Mr. 7th likes quiet, so I won't disturb you further. Let them arrange my accommodation. Siwuya did not object and let her proceed. At this moment, the person in charge of Yellow Peak Mountain came in. The sudden arrival of the master is unexpected. Please forgive my late reception. Siwuya smiled slightly, indicating it was no problem. Bai Yuqing is one of the Underworld sect's 4 great protectors and also a friend of mine. She must not be neglected. I obey the order. I also have something to report. A few days ago, a distinguished guest with the surname Ri visited Yellow Peak Mountain, seeking to ask the master for something. Siwuya frowned slightly. A friend with the surname Ri? The person in charge was startled by the master's question and quickly responded. He not only knew the master's identity, but also matched the secret signal. Could he be fake? For some reason, Siwuya suddenly had a bad premonition. Where is he now? The person in charge answered. He is currently visiting Yellow Peak Mountain. No sooner had he finished speaking than a familiar voice echoed in the council hall. Long time no see, 7th junior brother. Siwuya knew who it was, so he let his subordinates step back with a wry smile. Siwuya's face regained its calm, and he greeted with a smile. 4th senior brother, long time no see. Ming Shirin pulled off the beard on his face and reverted to his original appearance. Surprised? Siwuya, sitting on a stool, nodded in response. Is this master's intention? Ming Shirin answered with a smile. Master ordered me to capture you and bring you back to the evil sky pavilion. Hearing this, Siwuya felt puzzled, thinking of all that had happened at Clarity Sect. He didn't quite understand. Master went to the extent of using a flying chariot to personally go to Clarity Sect and even used a divine spell. Why did he only send 4th senior brother? Even with Siwuya's exceptional intelligence, he couldn't figure out the key to this situation. However, he remained calm and asked Ming Shirin how he knew to find him here. Ming Shirin, unapologetically, grabbed some tea beside him and started drinking. One word: investigation. There are no walls that wind does not penetrate. Do you remember the flying chariot from Skylark Tower? Junior brother, you were careless. No matter how many people you hire, could an ordinary person possess a flying chariot? Siwuya couldn't help but applaud. How did elder brother learn the password? Ming Shirin chuckled. I stayed at Crouching Dragon Ridge for 2 days. Sorry, I get restless and ended up turning Crouching Dragon and this place inside out. Siwuya looked at Ming Shirin with a complicated expression, not knowing what to say, and hadn't expected Ming Shirin to go to such lengths to track his movements. 4th senior brother, I have a question to ask. Go ahead. Ming Shirin was exceptionally pleased. Honestly, he had no assurance of encountering Siwuya. It was like a blind cat finding a dead rat, and though there was an element of luck, luck is also a part of strength, especially when waiting for someone as clever and cunning as Siwuya. Siwuya then said, I heard that the barrier of the evil sky pavilion has significantly weakened because Master needed to maintain his cultivation and forcibly drew power from the barrier. Ming Shirin hadn't been back for a while, so he wasn't aware. He shook his head in response. Sorry, if you want to know more, you'll have to come back to the evil sky pavilion with me. Siwuya gave a wry smile. Why make it difficult among fellow disciples? Ming Shirin stood up. A traitor is still a traitor. You should feel lucky that it's me here today. If Master had come himself and turned you to dust with a slap, I wouldn't be surprised. Master's cultivation is unfathomable. I dare not doubt it. However, I still have many things left undone, and returning now feels somewhat premature. Ming Shirin's face showed a hint of anger. I don't care about your affairs. Today, you must come back to the evil sky pavilion with me. Siwuya was not afraid. The 10-year limit has been shortened by 5 years due to the barrier's issues. Even if I return, can I change the situation? What about after 5 years? Will we still go our separate ways? Future matters. We'll talk about them later. Then I'll follow in 4th senior brother's footsteps and say something rebellious. Even if Master himself came, he could do nothing to me. Ming Shirin, upon hearing this, slapped the table beside him. Traitor, today I shall purge the sect for Master. Siwuya remained calm and unmoved as the palm strike hit him squarely in the chest. With a loud bang, Siwuya was sent flying backwards, smashing through the door. Ding, for punishing Siwuya, gained 200 merit points. Resting, Lu Zhou was confused by this sudden notification. Upon reflection, he realized only Ming Shirin could have done it. However, what puzzled him was that Ming Shirin's cultivation had only just reached the level of the Golden Lotus. How could he be a match for Siwuya? Unable to figure it out, he went back to sleep. Siwuya spat out a mouthful of blood and struggled to sit up. Ming Shirin observed for a moment and then understood. So your cultivation was sealed. 7th junior brother, even you have such days. Siwuya was not angry. 4th senior brother has indeed become stronger, but if my cultivation were intact, you still wouldn't be my match. Ming Shirin shook his head. A loser in battle. Alas, there are no ifs. Siwuya sighed deeply. Well, a loss is a loss. 4th senior brother, just do it. Ming Shirin grabbed Siwuya by the collar. You think I don't dare? Siwuya looked directly at him, unafraid. Do you really dare? Ming Shirin had always wanted to know the real reason why the senior brothers left the evil sky pavilion. Now that he had captured old 7th Siwuya, he finally had the chance to clear up his doubts. After all, I am your senior brother. Before taking action, I really want to know the real reason you left the evil sky pavilion. Siwuya smiled. The reason is simple. Master has a bad temper. We are also human. We need dignity. Who could endure that in the long run? We took our weapons and techniques and left, severing all ties. You think I would believe that? Making your defection from the sect sounds so noble. When did your skin get so thick? Siwuya responded. It's a pot calling the kettle black. I remember 4th senior brother had such thoughts that's when the top experts of the 10 major sects attacked Golden Court Mountain. You might not believe this, but many of those attacking the mountain were spies I had planted. Fourth senior brother, you really angered Master back then. Shut up. Ming Shirin, furious, let out a roar that directly impacted Siwuya. Siwuya grunted as his body involuntarily collapsed to the ground. I am merely stating the facts. I hope you can forgive me, senior brother. Ming Shirin turned away and sighed. Times change. You are not one of us. How could you understand what's happening inside the mountain? Siwuya, staggering to his feet, replied, likewise, you are not us. How could you understand our feelings? Still making excuses. Ming Shirin exerted force in his hand and threw him out. Siwuya crashed through the door and fell into the courtyard. Ding, for punishing Siwuya, gained 200 merit points. Lu Zhou, resting, lifted his eyelid at the notification sound and then went back to sleep. Ming Shirin strode out of the house. What goes around comes around. Who would have sealed your cultivation that even you can't undo it? Siwuya said nothing, instead wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth and looking outside. Seeing this, Ming Shirin chuckled. Don't expect your people to save you. I've been practicing here these past few days. Perhaps I've scared them off. Siwuya was speechless, suddenly realizing that this fourth senior brother was much smarter than he thought. Fourth senior brother, why not join the dark net? You take the position of leader, and I will gladly assist you. Incurable, since Master is not here, I will teach you a lesson on his behalf. Ming Shirin then raised his hand and sent out a forceful energy, rolling directly towards Siwuya's chest. Just as it was about to hit, with a bang, another even faster forceful energy intervened in front of him. Ming Shirin turned his head in confusion, only to see a woman in purple suddenly appear behind Siwuya. I am Bai Yuqing from the Underworld Sect's White Tiger Hall. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Fourth. Hearing the words Underworld Sect, Ming Shirin nervously looked around. Bai Yuqing gave a slight smile. Mr. Fourth, there's no need to panic. The sect leader is busy and hasn't come. Ming Shirin sighed in relief. A joke. Do you think I would be afraid of him? Mr. Fourth, I heard some noise over here just now. The sect leader has repeatedly instructed not to interfere in gentlemen's private affairs. However, the sect leader also instructed me to ensure Mr. Seventh's safety. Why must Mr. Fourth be so aggressive, making things difficult for Mr. Seventh? Ming Shirin didn't want to argue with her. If I were your sect leader, the first person I would execute would be someone like you who doesn't follow orders. Bai Yuqing fell silent at these words, and Siwuya then stood up. Why get angry, fourth senior brother? Even if you kill me, it won't solve the problem, will it? Ming Shirin shook his head. My problem is to eliminate you. Hearing this, Siwuya also fell silent. He looked at his fourth senior brother as if he was looking at a stranger, unsure why there was such a big change in him, especially since the old Ming Shirin had similar attitudes to theirs at the Evil Sky Pavilion. After a moment's contemplation, Siwuya opened his shirt to reveal a blood-red character on his chest, looking as though it was fused with his skin and very conspicuous. Body-binding god spell. Ming Shirin was greatly shocked upon seeing it. During his time at the Evil Sky Pavilion, he had extensively studied the Western Pavilion's texts to enhance his cultivation, and he knew that the body-binding god spell was an extremely formidable method of restraint. Fourth senior brother, do you know who is behind this? Hearing Siwuya's question, Ming Shirin shook his head. I didn't see it with my own eyes. How would I know? This answer further confirmed that Ming Shirin had not followed the flying chariot to Clarity Sect. Therefore, fourth senior brother's arrival at Yellow Peak Mountain today was not prearranged by Master. With this thought, Siwuya felt considerably more relaxed. This body-binding god spell was indeed cast by Master himself. Ming Shirin's eyes widened in shock. Master has been using some strange methods recently, whether Buddhist handprints or Taoist charms. How could a god spell appear as well? Siwuya continued, senior brother, you need not doubt. It truly is Master's handiwork. Once you return to the Evil Sky Pavilion, you will understand. Afflicted by this god spell, I've lost all my cultivation. The cultivation world is full of dangers. Many sects would love to flay and deb one me. Even you managed to find Yellow Peak Mountain. What about others? Aren't you afraid that Master might one day deal harshly with you too? Ming Shirin's expression turned cold. Stop trying to bewitch me with your clever words. Departing from the sect and betraying our Master, killing you wouldn't be strange at all. Come back with me to see Master. Siwuya, seeing that his schemes were exhausted yet also realizing his fourth senior brother was stubborn to this extent, realized that not even the great deterrence of the body-binding god spell could make him see reason. What else could possibly change Ming Shirin's mind? If reason won't work, other methods must. With this thought, he smiled faintly. Fourth senior brother, force is indeed important sometimes, but what really decides the outcome of a battle isn't just force. You might find it not so easy to take me with you. Let's try then. Ming Shirin bellowed, and a rolling sound wave surged towards Siwuya. At that moment, Bai Yuqing also intervened, stepping in front of Siwuya to neutralize the impact. Sorry, Mr. Fourth, but I must ensure Mr. Seventh's safety. Ming Shirin gave her a meaningful look. What did you say your name was? Bai Yuqing bowed. I am Bai Yuqing, head of the White Tiger Hall of the Underworld Sect. Your cultivation is impressive. Why not join the Evil Sky Pavilion? Bai Yuqing's face showed embarrassment. Thank you for your kind offer, Mr. Fourth, but having Then join the underworld sect. I have never thought of leaving. Ming Shirin's mouth curled into a mocking smile as he looked at Siwuya. Look at her, even she understands that one should not betray. Old seventh, look at yourself. Siwuya was indifferent to his mockery. Over the many years, countless people had mocked him in the same way. Traitor, betrayer of his master and ancestors, unloyal, unrighteous, committing all sorts of evil, manipulative, and sneaky. The litany of insults had long numbed him. After speaking, Ming Shirin looked at Bai Yuqing appreciatively. I'll remember you. Bai Yuqing bowed. Thank you for your understanding, Mr. Fourth. Please return. Please return? Ming Shirin laughed, leveraging his position to leap into the air, his body surrounded by forceful energy, clearly ready for battle. Bai Yuqing looked up at Ming Shirin with some excitement. Deep down, she also wanted to clash with a disciple of the evil Sky Pavilion. Since she started her cultivation journey, she had heard many legends and stories about the evil Sky Pavilion. Everyone was wary of it, especially the master of the evil Sky Pavilion. The last time the four leaders faced the evil Sky Pavilion's flying chariot, they dared not speak out. Now with such a good opportunity, how could she not be excited? Bai Yuqing also soared into the air, looking forward expectantly. Mr. Fourth, are you intending to fight? Ming Shirin didn't speak, his figure shot towards her like lightning. Bai Yuqing, not daring to be careless, also rose sharply to meet his attack, targeting his face. In an instant, their forceful energies collided and intertwined, creating ripples in the air. Siwuya stood below, quietly watching their fight. At this moment, the person in charge of Yellow Peak Mountain ran over in fear. I am to blame. I should not have let the wolf into the house. Siwuya shook his head. Don't blame yourself. Today you can retire and enjoy your remaining years. The person in charge wanted to say more, but Siwuya waved his hand to stop him. This is the rule of the dark net. Considering your years of loyal service, you can keep your tongue. The person in charge dared not object, sighed, and bowed to Siwuya. Thank you for your mercy, Master. I take my leave. After he left, another person came up to Siwuya and asked, Master, the battle between these two seems evenly matched. Who will win? Siwuya smiled. Bai Yuqing is a 7th Leaf Master. Though 4th senior brother has a heavenly tier weapon, he's unlikely to be a match for her. Bai Yuqing is just giving face. While heavenly tier weapons are strong, overcoming such a gap in cultivation is nearly impossible. Just as he finished speaking, the surrounding trees and bushes suddenly began to grow wildly. Seeing this, Siwuya exclaimed in admiration. It seems 4th senior brother has mastered the complete bluewood technique. Master, have you come to terms with this? In the cultivation world, whether it's the Taoist charms, Buddhist Sanskrit mantras, demon Zen, or the Confucian aura of righteousness, they all ultimately utilize primal energy, either consolidating it into forceful energy or using it for gentle healing, variations of the same essence. The evil Sky Pavilion's bluewood technique, however, is unique among sects, purely using primal energy to promote plant growth. As vines attacked Bai Yuqing from all sides, the excitement in her eyes intensified. Mr. Fourth, I won't hold back. She then shouted, 100 Tribulation Insight. In the next second, a 7-meter-tall avatar stood in the sky. A powerful, forceful energy radiated from her, instantly destroying the encroaching vines as it spread. Vines scattered across the sky. Ming Shirin, holding the separation hook, flashed into position. Bai Yuqing, sensing this, erupted with primal energy, unleashing countless palm strikes in an extremely short period of time. Ming Shirin swung the separation hook from side to side, smashing all incoming palm strikes. Bai Yuqing roared, and her avatar suddenly shrank dramatically from 7 meters to 1 as streams of potent forceful energy gathered in her palms, quickly forming a sphere that hurtled towards Ming Shirin with ferocious momentum. Ming Shirin retreated repeatedly. Although he used the separation hook to deflect the force, the gap in their realms was too great. Even with a heavenly tier weapon, he still felt his blood churn and his body go numb. Had he not been prepared, that strike could have seriously injured him. After the move, Bai Yuqing ceased her attack and bowed slightly. Thank you for the concession. She did not take pride in her easy victory over Ming Shirin. Instead, she felt surprised, always sensing that Ming Shirin was holding back. The fear that the evil Sky Pavilion inspires is not without reason, and it's no exaggeration that any disciple who leaves could dominate elsewhere. Ming Shirin, floating in the air, looked at Siwuya. Old 7th, I underestimated you. To have such a helper. Siwuya smiled slightly. Words are of little use. 4th senior brother, please return and relay a message to Master for me. Tell him I am doing well, and neither I nor the eldest disciple hold any grudge against him. Ming Shirin, enraged by the response, cursed, nonsense. You still dare to say you hold no grudge against Master. You are utterly defiant. After cursing, he turned to Bai Yuqing. I advise you not to meddle. Bai Yuqing's expression darkened, and the 7-meter avatar reappeared behind her. Since Mr. Fourth refuses to see reason, I must be less courteous. Ming Shirin frowned slightly, his eyes filled with reluctance. He had painstakingly investigated, followed clues, and finally tracked down Siwuya at Yellow Peak Mountain, not willing to see his efforts wasted because of Bai Yuqing. After a moment of thought, he activated the bluewood technique, and the wildly growing vines closed in once again. Just as the vines closed in, Bai Yuqing launched an attack. She moved like an arrow released released from a bow, her avatar charging at Ming Shireen with full force, seemingly with no intention to hold back. This was the most effective method of overpowering someone when there's a large gap in realms. Previously, Elder Zhang Chunlai of the Orthodox sect had used this method to break Zhu Honglong's 8 directions formation. All tricks seemed meaningless before the avatar. Seeing this, Si Weiyao murmured in surprise, "Eldest brother, is this really what you want?" The avatar was too fast. Ming Shireen was forced to retreat repeatedly. Members of the Dark Net shook their heads and sighed, watching the Underworld sect's top expert's formidable move. Clearly, Mr. Fourth of the Evil Sky Pavilion was about to suffer. After all, Ming Shireen was also a disciple of the Evil Sky Pavilion, and being overwhelmed by a stronger opponent was a blow to his dignity. Just as Bai Yuqing completely overpowered Ming Shireen, suddenly, an unexpected change occurred. 3 cyan figures appeared from afar, instantly closing the distance. 3 figures turned into 2, then 1, and blocked right in front of Bai Yuqing's avatar. Her momentum stopped abruptly, as if forcefully halted, unable to advance even a step further. The cyan figure's long sword vibrated behind him, and with a whoosh, it unsheathed, plunging forward. Bai Yuqing's heart sank as she recognized the formidable figure before her as the sword demon Yushangrong. The longevity sword traced arcs in the air, like red fireworks blossoming, forming a fan-shaped slice aimed at Bai Yuqing's avatar, reaching incredible speeds. Bai Yuqing couldn't dodge in time. Her avatar was instantly bisected. Breaking the avatar was akin to a severe injury. This single strike could incapacitate Bai Yuqing for half a year. Her eyes widened in disbelief. She spat out a mouthful of blood and began to fall towards the ground.